Debra Medina, Republican candidate for governor, joining us now on the KTSA Newsmaker line. Debra Medina, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Welcome back to the show.
Thanks. It's good to be with you.
So are you going to be in this debate next month or not?
Well, boy, if it's up to me, I sure am. We're really disappointed that the governor is using, but we've seen that, haven't we, using the power of the office to put people between a rock and a hard place. KERA told me in a face-to-face meeting that I had with them back in September that I met the criteria for their debate, and that they weren't looking for the same things that the for-profit stations look for. They're a public service media outlet, so it's really unfortunate that they have kind of backed away from that commitment.
Well, what is it that you think Rick Perry is holding over the TV station? Is he just saying he won't come to the debate, or is there something more than that?
That's kind of our understanding. We've had now a couple of different events cancel, and that's the impression that we're getting from folks. He will come if it's just him and Kay.
Now, you know, it's interesting because you would think that in this very tough battle, he would like to have more people on the stage instead of just going, you know, mano a mano with her. What is it about you that has him so worried?
I'm the conservative in the race, I think.
Right, and if they're up there, then he can just out-conservative her, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, and I think he knows that I'm bringing up some pretty relevant issues. The governor has not been effective in getting solutions for Texans on property tax reform. I'm talking about eliminating property tax. On education, I'm talking about injecting competition into that monopoly. On the border, I'm talking about securing the border and ensuring that all traffic goes through the legal ports of entry. I'm going to press hard for those things that Texans are talking about and are concerned about, and that doesn't even begin to address the transportation, you know, how many lives does the TTC have issues. So he knows I'm going to hit those things that Texans are most concerned about that he's failed to deliver on.
Now, you were, before you made this run for governor, you had a position in Wharton County with the Republican Party. What was your title? I
was Wharton County Republican Party chairman in the midst of my third term there.
Did you ever campaign for Rick Perry?
I didn't knock doors for him per se, but I voted for him. I put his material in the party headquarters. I've supported him in the past. But
why should the voters of Texas trust a Republican who helped get Rick Perry elected, and who's now telling them, "Oh, Rick Perry's a mistake"?
I think that we have to remember that our allegiance, probably in all things, certainly in politics, is to principles and ideas. It's not to people. So when people fail to act in a manner consistent with their principles and ideas, you've got to replace them. And I've been talking about, that's why I'm in this race, because I'm just an average, hardworking Texan who has seen our political establishment fail us time and time again, and I'm putting myself out there to say I'm going to walk my talk. I have a history of walking my talk. The talk is not bad. The failure to walk is where the problem is. The principles are right. Liberty, property, pursuit of happiness, those are things that government ought to be securing for us, and Rick Perry has let us down on that. It's time to put someone up who has some ideas about how to secure those things for Texans.
11:35 on KTSA. We're talking with Debra Medina, Republican candidate for governor. You can see why Rick Perry would be just scared to death of having what you just said up there on the stage with him in this debate. Clearly for you, there's no downside to being in these debates at all. Most candidates see it as I could win, I could lose, it could hurt me, it could help me. But where you are in the polls right now, all you need is for more people to hear you talking like you're talking right now.
Well, I think what we know in our campaign and what Rick knows is, and I'm sure his own internal polling is showing the same thing that ours is, when people know I'm in this race, I get more than 50% of the vote. So you're absolutely right. I've got to be in that debate. More Texans have to know they have a champion in this fight for them, and her name is Debra Medina.
So what are they telling you at KERA now? What's the latest on this?
We're talking to our lawyers.
So you're basically going the route that says they have to include me.
Yeah, I mean, look at their objective criteria. What do we not meet? Are they really going to say that the University of Texas poll is flawed methodology? They want 6%. UT puts us at 7%. Every other criteria we meet, and when we say, hey, we meet the criteria, I mean, you told us we were in, now you're putting out criteria, we meet the criteria, what's the deal? We're talking to our lawyers.
What does it mean when in the Fort Worth Star-Telegram the TV station's manager says we don't know yet whether Ms. Medina will meet the criteria? Are you saying you've already met it?
KERA has published 3 criteria, and we meet those 3 criteria. Their response continues to be, we're talking with our lawyers.
What is your position right now in terms of money raised or money coming in? You're obviously not going to have nearly as much as these other 2 will have. Are you going to even get close?
Not even close.
Not even close.
It's going to be truly a David and 2 Goliaths. I've said over and over, this race is going to set the political establishment on its ear. It really is going to be one with shoe leather and elbow grease.
Yeah, but this is a big state. I mean, you can say that in a small state, but you can't walk Texas.
But boy, people can walk Texas, and they are. We've got 7 regional coordinators and county coordinators and grassroots teams all over the state, and they are working hard, and those are volunteer hours. That is that shoe leather and elbow grease I'm talking about. We've got people coming back after the fact with all kinds of stories about events. They're walking in parades, they're waving signs, they're knocking on doors, they're working booths at gun shows. They are getting out where the people are. They're going to shopping malls. They're in parking lots at shopping malls where the traffic is congested to let people know that there's another candidate. And it doesn't take long for people to get really excited about this campaign, and volunteers are out there doing that all over Texas. We've got another 80 days or so, and we're going to continue to work really hard. So, yeah, getting into the debate is really critical, but there is a lot of excitement about this race all over the state of Texas.
We're talking to Debra Medina, Republican gubernatorial candidate here on KTSA. What did you think, Debra Medina, when Sarah Palin endorsed Perry, and what do you think of her?
I'm still waiting for Sarah to say Sarah's endorsed Rick. I know Rick likes to say Sarah's endorsed Rick, but have
you don't know that it's true.
have any of us seen that? Let's see, she was going to be here and campaign for him, and then she didn't come, and then he brought Rudy Giuliani in instead. Another reason for people to wonder whether the Trans-Texas Corridor is really dead. Giuliani, of course, Giuliani Bracewell, the firm that contracted with Centra and the state of Texas for the corridor. So yeah, I'm anxious to see whether that's.
Would you like to have had her endorsement?
Absolutely.
I mean, isn't she sort of the Alaska version of Debra Medina?
I think Debra Medina is the Texas version of, I'm certainly going down in many ways the same road that she did in her home state, taking on corruption within her own party and taking on corruption within her state government.
I mean, she's getting bad information. Whoever's telling her that Perry's the guy, she's getting bad information. Does she even know about you?
I don't know. I know that people have sent information to her. We were able to put a handwritten note in her publicist's hand at her book signing in Dallas. I'd like to talk with her, regardless of who she endorses. I think that certainly she's fought a lot of the same battles in Alaska that need to be waged here in Texas. We've got corruption in our Texas Youth Commission, in Texas Criminal Justice, in Texas Department of Transportation, in Texas Mental Health, mental retardation. It seems like everywhere you look within state government, we have found sloth, just kind of a general sloppiness in the overall administration. Ultimately, you got to put that burden back on the governor's desk. He is the CEO for the state of Texas. It's his job to provide good, solid leadership and direction to those departments within the state of Texas. Sarah's fought a lot of those issues, and from all reports, done very well to straighten that up and to get a more effective, efficient state government running in Alaska. And I'd love to visit with her about her advice on what to do here in the state to make sure that we can implement some of those same successful strategies.
Well, we're going to watch DebateGate here. We got a month to go, so things could change. We're going to keep in touch with you and come back and be with us again real soon, Debra Medina.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate your time today. A Republican candidate for governor.